Which actually
so, there you have it.
Supports the theory more. That's hilarious. Have I just helped you prove your own theory? Yeah, totally.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another different sort of video this time.
It's still a react, but it's different.
Yeah, because I've seen the video. I watched it when it first came out. But Harry, our resident Sonic fan.
Yes, resident Sonic expert. Hello.
So, he's gonna watch through this game theory thing, because honestly, there was stuff that it brought up that surprised me that I didn't know about Sonic lore. But when I was describing some of the things to him, he was like, I don't think that's quite right.
Yeah, it was your typical driving in a car sort of conversation. It's quite simple. But I was like, some of this sounds like bullshit. So Steve's like, well, let's just watch it. I'm like, oh, okay then, it's fine. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, that's precisely what we're doing. Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
The Hedgehog wasn't originally designed with in-depth storytelling in mind. Mainly you're just running, jumping, and
at the speed of sound.
But over the years, as Sonic entered the 3D space, it had to change. Our favorite blue blur needed a story, and the results have been mixed, to say the least.
Hey, don't you say that about Unleashed, oh man. I'm already triggered.
Adventure that went all in with a heaping scoop of lore. They even hired the former chief writer for the Archie comics to help make it good. And what we got was confusing at best and potentially canon-breaking at worst.
And finding multiple connections between the Ancients and the Chaos Emeralds. It's almost like they share the same origin.
So today, we're gonna set the record straight. Does Sonic Frontiers
I hope you've actually played Sonic Frontiers,
canon,
otherwise.
Spoilers, guys. Than we realize. Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, the show that's this close to connecting the 4 Chaos channel.
Is it bad to say I actually kind of like those 6? Fight me in the comments, I don't care.
The whole thing looked empty and lifeless. So much so that Sega had to come out and tell gamers that you just don't get it, man. But then the game came out and it was still largely empty and lifeless. Basically, Sonic Team saw Breath of the Wild and went, let's do that.
I'm getting mad now.
This game was means that for the first time we actually have to take all of Sonic's lore seriously. That's a pretty dangerous prospect because Sonic lore has gone to some strange places.
Eggman, I am going to save this planet, and I am going to free these aliens. No copyright law.
The greatest line ever created.
Even if you do know your Sonic lore, things
Sonic
presented
Colors
in Frontiers seem to contradict major plot details from other games. So, does Sonic Frontiers actually make sense, or does it break the canon like many have suggested online? For once, let's slow down, let's take a deep breath and explore the world of chaos energy, mutant aliens, and Sonic history. Making matters worse, huge parts of the lore are hidden behind Eggman memos. Memos that you can only get when you fish with Big the Cat.
Oh, hey, Sonic. You come here to fish too?
You come here to fish too?
Looking for fishing spots and
the fishing is class, alright.
So now
find me in the comments, I don't care. Fishing's great.
Why would you make slow fishing a thing in a fast Sonic game? Am I crazy? Why do all games?
I'm gonna get really annoyed in a minute.
Fishing, but especially a Sonic game. I'm sorry, that's my rant at... Older Sonic fans will take one look at the ancient race and immediately connect the dots to an old foe that we faced back in 1998.
I literally saw
you see, these
the ancient
aliens look exactly like the main villain Chaos from the game Sonic Adventure. And that connection isn't lost on this game either.
I had Sage run a diagnostic on the recorded genetic data of the Ancients, and then against archives I have with me. They're relatives of Chaos, the god of destruction.
As soon as I heard that, I was so happy. I was like, yeah! I'm a genius!
If Chaos and the Ancients are indeed one and the same, is it possible for him to still have been a mutant Chao? This is the primary issue that I've seen debated online.
Yeah, I've seen that. I have seen this particular thing
the established
a lot.
lore. Honestly,
but
the
I've also
response
seen
that I
a
would
lot
have
of
is just to say
responses
that the old lore got retconned, but we know for a fact that that isn't the case. Ian Flynn came out and confirmed that the original lore is still valid.
He's still a mutated Chao. The mutation is he looks like their ancestors. The mutation is is a rollback to the previous. He's still a mutant Chow. That hasn't changed.
So, while that's certainly helpful for clarifying canonicity, it offers us no help in figuring out how these two things can both be canon. Fortunately, Eggman provides us with a bit more information. In that same memo where Eggman confirms the connection between Chaos and the Ancients, he also says this.
After countless years, their DNA corroded to the point they were completely transformed into a new species. Some kind of radiation affected them for eons, making them unrecognizable.
Now,
I'm going to stop the video there, because I remember that this came up, right? Obviously, I've played the game, this obviously came up, I read it, and I was like, oh, so the DNA became corrupted, it changed, and that's what caused the things. But it's kind of weird how it goes from, like, water monster to weird Chow back to water monster.
Yeah.
But it has to do with the Chaos Emeralds. Because we've seen the Chaos Emeralds, especially with repeated exposure, Shadow the Hedgehog, that the Chaos Emeralds can, like, change, like, not necessarily change matter, but they can, like, change, it's hard, I don't know how to describe it without going into, like, weird stuff. all I can really say, and this won't make sense to you, but it'll make sense to the Sonic fans behind the camera lens, it's kind of like the difference between the Bio-Lizard and Shadow. Like, they look nothing the same, but they are the same thing. Both can use the Chaos Control, both have a connection to the Chaos Emeralds. Like, they're completely different, but they're the same thing. It's kind of weird, but it makes sense. I guess we'll use a Ruby example. Ice Queendom to Ruby. Like, you've still got the source material, you've still got Ruby that it's based on.
Yes.
But it's also nothing like Ruby.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
So it's the same, but it's not.
Okay.
And like it says, the radiation has made it become unrecognizable. The radiation from the Chaos Emeralds.
Yeah.
Like, you won't understand this bit, but the Bio-Lizard and Shadow are not the same at all, but they are both the ultimate life form.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take your word for that bit.
Yeah, you better do.
Now, doesn't that sound familiar? Radiation transforming bodies. It's just
See?
like what the Sonic Adventure Navigation Guide said happened to Chaos, just Uno reverse. Instead of cute little Chow transforming into water monsters, the water monsters have been transformed into Chow. But what radiation would be able to do this? Well, that one's easy. Chaos was originally said to have mutated because of radiation from the Master Emerald, the giant green jewel that lives at the center of Angel Island. This thing is basically a
thing
Deus
that
Ex
can
Machina.
control all the Chaos Emeralds.
It keeps Angel
Anyway.
Island floating. It's a prison for chaos. It can stop the Chaos Emeralds, but it also powers them up. Whatever is needed to make the story happen, the Master Emerald can deliver.
I mean, yeah,
and you don't have to take my word for it.
I'll give you that one.
Knuckles from the obscure series Tales Tube uploaded onto the official Sonic YouTube channel.
The Master Emerald, a jewel of immeasurable power, and the only force in the universe that can neutralize the energy of the Chaos Emeralds.
Neutralize the other emeralds, huh? Interesting. You see, in the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 instruction manual, we're told the energy that the Master Emerald emits is identical to that of the Chaos Emeralds, just much, much stronger. This energy is known, unsurprisingly, as Chaos Energy or Chaos Radiation if you're feeling spicy. But it turns out the Master Emerald isn't the only one with mutation powers. Chaos Emeralds also emit enough Chaos Radiation to mutate creatures. In the Archie comics, the energy emitted by the Chaos Emeralds actually turns someone into a watery monster just like Chaos. Now, admittedly, the Archie comics aren't considered canon, however, Ian Flynn
was just about to say that.
the writer for them, so it's not surprising that he might have wanted to borrow some ideas from the things that he himself had worked on in the past. The Ancients even take the Chaos Emeralds directly to the Master as a last-ditch effort to protect them. In other words, they literally put the Chaos Emeralds in a location where their energy would be amplified, exposing themselves to even more radiation. This one move, I suspect, sped up their mutation process and transformed the Ancients into the Chow that we know and love and buy all the merch for today. So that's how the Ancients became Chow, but what about how a Chow could mutate back to being an Ancient? In other words, how did Chaos go from alien water monster to Chow and then back to alien water monster? That's what has to have happened for everything to have been canonical, like Ian Flynn said. Well, we know the mutation back was thanks to the Master Emerald's radiation, but that's the same radiation that turned the Ancients to Chow in the first place. So what gives? Well, the Master Emerald's never-ending power set seems to explain all. Listen to this quote from Knuckles again.
The Master Emerald, a jewel of immeasurable power, and the only force in the universe that can neutralize the energy of the Chaos Emeralds.
The Master Emerald doesn't just boost the Chaos Emerald's power, it can also neutralize it. We actually see this all over the series.
I was gonna
In
say,
Sonic
that
Battle,
happens
Sonic
so
attempts
many
to use this
times
technique
in
to
the
stop
actual
the antagonist who's
games
using
and
the Chaos Emeralds for power. We also see Knuckles attempt the same thing in Sonic Adventure 2, when the Space Colony Ark is using the emeralds to force the space station to crash to Earth. But the first time we see this technique used is during the events of Sonic Adventure. We learn of the ancient clan of echidnas that know an ancient prayer used to neutralize the Chaos Emeralds.
The 7 emeralds are the servers. Chaos is power enriched by the heart. The controller serves to unify the chaos.
If the ancients were originally mutated into Chao through their exposure to the emeralds, then when the chaos energy was neutralized, the effects would presumably be reversed, allowing a Chao within the vicinity of the Master Emerald to lose its Chao-like form and return to its original state. This is why Chaos is so protective of the emeralds during Sonic Adventure's flashbacks. He wasn't just a guardian of the emeralds because they were too powerful, his race literally brought them to this planet. They were to be used as a force for good. Chaos just couldn't risk the power given in his hands of someone who could use it.
He's a guardian of the Chao,
like
but
Eggman,
okay.
and like Sonic.
Which actually
so there you have it. The
supports the theory more. That's hilarious. Have I just helped you prove your own theory? Yeah, totally. Like, he's not a guardian of the Chaos Emeralds, he's the guardian of the Chao. And if, as MatPat clearly says, the Chao are the ancients but mutated, well, surely he'd want to protect, I don't know, his own race? Oh my god. That's actually hilarious. Why did you not say that? Like, what? Alright, cool. Yeah, GG. It's nearly finished, thank God.
broken lore of Sonic Frontiers is officially unbroken. I would dare say that it makes perfect sense, provided you were a deep lore expert on the comings and goings of gemology in a fictional landscape by aliens. Regardless, I'm excited for this new phase of Sonic lore. Hopefully Ian Flynn gets invited back to write more of these games. He clearly cares a lot about this franchise and its lore.
Well, there's already a
something I
sequel
very
to
much
Sonic
respect.
Frontiers
It feels so much better when a
happening,
franchise
so
as big as this finally
it
starts to have
probably
some
has.
cohesion in its narrative. And now that we know that the Chaos Emeralds have the power to mutate aliens, who knows what's up ahead for Sonic? Maybe all the over-reliance on Super Sonic to defeat Eggman over the years will start to have a negative effect on him physically. Maybe he'll start to mutate as well. Maybe not into Werehog, but you know. I mean, the game did give Tails a story about not relying on Sonic for everything. Could they be setting up the next one where Tails is the main character and has to save Sonic? Or, you know, maybe they'll just throw away all the fictional sci-fi stuff and just start using some real-world physics. Finally, we'll get someone to question if Sonic truly is the fastest thing alive. But hey, that's
never gonna happen, that's
game theory. Thanks for watching.
So,
Okay.
so there it is. I mean, except from that hilarious contradiction I just pointed out to actually help prove the theory, there is still one big glaring point that is not covered by MatPat. And that is something that happens, and it's very freaking obvious. Spoilers yet again for Sonic Frontiers, even if that wasn't already obvious. So, when the ancients effectively died, right? Because they did, they died out. Because it was actually the end. The end comes to Earth. They basically it literally blows up the ancients' planet and then chases the survivors across space to Earth. And well, we'll say Earth. Mobius if you're in the comics, but whatever. So we'll say Earth.
Yeah.
And they inhabit the Starfall Islands, and they even have enough time to actually form defenses and start effectively the new thing of a civilization. Anyway, doesn't work. The end just kills them all. But they knew that they were going to die, and that's why they took the Chaos Emeralds to the Master Emerald. I mean, hell, that's actually why they went to Earth in the first place.
Right.
Because the Chaos Emeralds were literally drawn to the Master Emerald. The Master Emerald was on Earth. How it got there, why it was on a different planet in the first place, I don't know. That's Sonic Frontiers 2's job. Right? But anyway, so the point I'm getting to, they all die. They all get wiped out. The only remnants of them that are left are these little clay things called the Coco.
Right. Okay.
You may have noticed in the video there was like them little, almost like ball, like grey Kirby things.
Well, we can put a picture up now.
Yeah, you'll put a picture on the screen. I'm sure you will. These things, it is confirmed in the game, are the spirits of the dead ancients.
Right. Okay.
Right, and the reason why they're still sticking around, and because you actually help them in the game.
Yeah.
is basically to fulfill what they couldn't do when they were alive.
Okay.
I won't go into too much detail on that, but yeah, but when you do that, then they effectively finally have peace, if you will. They kind of pass away properly, if you will. If that's the case, right, well, we know that's the case. That is 1,000,000% confirmed canon. That's what happens when an ancient dies. It leaves behind its cocoa, which is like the shiny thing in its chest, which you'll probably have noticed in the video as well. Chaos doesn't have one of those.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
But what Chaos does have, which the Ancients also don't, is a brain.
Stephen from the future just editing the video. What Harry just said is and isn't correct. The Ancients do and don't have a brain. If you looked at the image we just showed on screen, the child Ancients do have brains, but yet the adults don't. Now, what this actually means I don't truly know, because I'm not enough of a Sonic fan. But anyway, back to the video.
Which is really, really weird. I just find that very, very strange. I don't know if that's simply because of the Chow mutation. You know, where like they mutate into a Chow and then mutate back again. Maybe that's why. And I don't know. But the thing is that really gets me is that if that is the case, why doesn't Chaos have a Coco? Like, where's it gone? What happened to it? Also, there's a hell of a lot of Chow, but there's also a hell of a lot of Coco. Why? Like, that seems very strange. If there's just like a handful of Chow, that would make more sense. There's millions of the Bar Stewards. Like, they're all over the place, you know what I mean? You can literally breed them in some of the games, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, it's weird. It's an unanswered question, right? And it's going to be unanswered, I think, for at least a few more games. But it's just something to point out that even though, I'll be honest, this is a pretty good theory for MatPat. I normally don't like his theories very much. They're normally very rushed and half-based, especially with some of the, like, sponsored videos. They're terrible. But anyway, that's my game theory rant over. This one was pretty well done, and he's clear, like, the researchers have clearly done their research, and they've done it really well. They've got it from lots of different, even weird sources, like Tails Tube, which is proper weird.
That was my favourite.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's so weird, but, I mean, it is canon, you know, like the stuff that's said. So yeah, it's just it's still, like it said in the Eggman memo, I love a good mystery, but not if the answer's more mysteries. Well, that's all we've gotten, really.
Yeah.
We do have a good idea, but that's all we have so far. It's not completely shattered the lore, but it's a bit, like, unstable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It'd be nice to get a bit more information on, well, how the hell does that actually happen? Because right now it is just a theory. So I'm not repeating the catchphrase, alright? But it is just a theory. And I just think that while it is good, I've obviously pointed out a few extra things that are still problems that it doesn't cover. Could easily cover them again, but I don't think there's a lot of room to cover them, in all honesty.
No.
I think it's still something that is going to be pondered for quite a long time, until probably Frontiers 2, which is happening, by the way.
Okay. But the main gist that it's the the Ancients becoming Chows.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that conclusion? Because that is the main point of his video.
That is the main point of the video, yeah. He even says he would go over Supersonic and then barely touches Supersonic at all, but whatever. I think right now, the best way I can phrase it is I don't have the evidence to disprove it.
Okay.
So, like, while I think it is pretty solid, actually, like, I would say that's a pretty solid theory, and it definitely explains the existence of Chaos. And if Ian Flynn himself has said, oh, Chaos is still, like, his origins are still the same, like, he was a Chow, he was a mutated Chow, yada yada, then that is the best possible explanation with the information we have so far to explain how that can still be the case.
Yeah.
The only way that can change is if we literally have a full-on explanation in the game of, oh yeah, this is what actually happens.
Yeah.
And chances are that might even come from Eggman, because, I mean, it's the Eggman memo that says, oh, well, I took the Ancient's DNA, and compared it to what I already had.
Yeah.
They're related to chaos. And it's like, well, there you go. So yeah, I think, I definitely can't disprove it by anything I can think of. So I think this is definitely the theory to use going forward.
Okay.
Is what I'll say.
And one thing I'll just ask, because now from what we've just watched there and what you said there, do you know of anything else in the comics? Because you said about, obviously, they had souls.
Well, the comics aren't canon.
No, not the comics, but like from what you know, is there anything else in Sonic that would make or be a good evidence-wise of a soul becoming almost a brain? Because like you said, one has a brain, one has a soul. So it's gone from soul to brain. And that's what's
wild.
That's what's got me now. I'm like, okay, is there anything that you can think of off the top of your head that's like, okay, that would make sense why in Sonic lore it's gone from a soul to a brain?
Like, honestly, it makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Okay,
like,
fair enough.
It makes no sense whatsoever. But one thing I've always thought of, and something that I could also see being the case, is that instead of the ancients are the Chow, I think it could be a similar case of the ancients, they just effectively dropped off the Chaos Emeralds, you know what I mean? They just went, oh, this entire... These things that we literally use to power our entire civilization, we just put on an altar. That makes no sense without having some way, and they also know at this point that they're basically going to become extinct. It makes no real sense in my mind for them to just leave them A, completely unguarded, and B, with no real way to actually regenerate themselves.
Yeah.
So my little theory is that they aren't the Chow. That the Chow already existed.
Right.
Like on Earth, they already pre-existed, and the ancients actually implemented their DNA into the Chow.
Okay.
So the whole Coco thing's wild, right? Like, you know how they have a soul, but they obviously don't have a brain, but they clearly can think and everything. It's proper weird. All right, I'm not going into fucking genealogy bullshit. All right, but I think it. So they like implement their DNA into the Chow. They know that the Chaos Emeralds like can change things.
Yeah.
Or at least I think that's a highly logical thing to assume that they would know.
Yeah.
Because they base their entire civilization on these Chaos Emeralds. So
you
would research the thing that you do that for. Nuclear power, everybody. So so I just think that also explains chaos, because if he then gets mutated from Chow form into big liquid monster form, and oh my god, I've just completely thought I didn't mention the fact how chaos is completely interlinked with the Chaos Emeralds.
Right.
Like every time Chaos absorbs a Chaos Emerald, he gets stronger.
Right.
That's literally the story of Sonic Adventure. So so he obviously has a big link with the Chaos Emeralds. So do the ancients. So that's how I could see it happening. I think they implemented their DNA into the Chow with the hopes of the Chaos Emeralds and of course the Master Emerald regenerating their own species to effectively repopulate, if you will, recreate their own population, and possibly with a brain to be smarter so they know how to defeat the end. Even though they put it inside the digital dimension, but that's a different story. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there is some weird explanation in what I'm trying to say, but I just feel like that could definitely be the case. Other thing that is never mentioned at all is obviously the echidnas. The echidnas are the ones who end up basically causing chaos to be trapped inside the Master Emerald, and the echidnas also have control of the Master Emerald. But there's no mention of the echidna race at all in the ancient story, so it's like, okay, it's interesting, but there's a clear and obvious link, and that is the Master Emerald and Chaos. So I don't know. I think there's a very big story, in my opinion, still to be told, and I think that is my explanation on what I think happened, which is a little bit different to what MatPat says. but I do think his theory is absolutely solid.
Okay, so that was actually really interesting, especially how...
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it to go the way it went. I was expecting him to be like, that's wrong, that's wrong. I wasn't expecting him to agree with the majority of it, from what we'd had the discussion in the car before with. So that was quite interesting. The fact that you've been able to like go a bit even further with that theory.
Oh, exactly, yeah. I find that quite funny.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, Chaos is there to protect the Chaos Emeralds. No, he ain't. Like,
yeah.
Nah, bro, he's there to protect the Chow. And if what you just said is the Chow of the Ancients, that suddenly makes a lot more sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just saying, man. Like, just saying, you know, just saying. But yeah. So, but it was a good. I do think it was a good theory overall.
So, thank you very much for watching this video. We don't do anything like this normally, but we have other videos to do with theories about different things of our own. Go check out Theory Class, Theory Court, and Theory Chat.
Yeah, please. It would be great. And if you want to see more Sonic content, let us know in the comments. Drop a like, all that sort of stuff. Oh, I did the intro a bit too early. Anyway, thanks again for watching, guys. And don't forget to drop a like.
Leave a comment.
Subscribe's always appreciated.
And don't forget to ring the notification bell to hear about our latest videos.